Okay, guys, Sawyer 189 here. So, Gideon Falls is a new ongoing series from Image that and I always get excited when I see new Image series come off the bat because they usually have kind of interesting ideas. They're usually very self-contained. This one is I'll get to my final ideas later, but it's a pretty interesting story nonetheless. It basically follows two kind of separate stories that are on the path to divide together or to merge together. So the first story that we see is mostly of this guy, Norton, I believe is his name, and he is a patient at a hospital. That he's an outgoing patient, but does have some mental unrest issues, unstable issues. He does see a psychologist, and he's starting to lose grip of reality even more so, because he's been going on these like little hunts. He's going through the garbage, just going through random scrap, looking for stuff in the city, and he keeps finding these little things and he puts them in little jars and he categorizes them and catalogs them. And so we don't really know exactly what he's doing at first. It's kind of revealed later on in the issue. I don't really want to get too much of the spoilers, but it's an interesting kind of story following this guy. He thinks he's going crazy. He has all these inner monologues about like the truth of what he's finding. Then we start to merge onto another storyline of this priest or pastor. I don't know what the proper term is. He's being assigned to a new church in this small town, Gideon Falls, which is like right outside the bigger city that Norton's in. And so he goes to the church. It's a really small, really old school, rural looking church. And he gets greeted by like the caregiver of the church and all this. And the last priest that was there died, but the main priest of the story, I forget his name. I think his name is Glenn or something. He doesn't know what's happening. He doesn't know why the old priest died. And of course there's some kind of interesting elements behind his death that we're kind of given hints to. So we're basically following these two stories parallel to each other, and it's really interesting where it kind of goes from there. So like art wise, I think the art's pretty good in this book. I mean, it's not going to be for everybody. It's going to be very interesting art. For me, I feel like it's not overly detailed, but it's very grimy and dirty, which it works well for a story like this that's dealing with some very kind of dark and sadistic kind of story elements. So I think this art style works very well for this type of story, but I don't think it would work very well for a more traditional type of story. So yes, as you can see here, this is like the guy, the church priest coming in. He's more of a city priest, and he's moving from place to place. I'm about to jump into spoilers, so if you don't want spoilers for this book, go ahead and leave now. But basically, what Norton has been looking for, he's been finding all these little bolts and screws and different little things that seem like they're just random parts of stuff. But as he starts to realize they're all parts of the same thing, like they're all used to build the same thing. And then he reveals in his inner monologues that he had a vision of this place called the Black Barn. You'll see it in the next picture that's about to bring up in a minute. But it's this very creepy looking barn. And in the barn, we don't know what's in the barn. We don't know anything about the barn, but you just feel this. You just get this incredible presence of darkness from the barn. And at the same time, the priest is following the dead priest, the one before him, comes to him at night and runs off, and he starts following him, not knowing what's going on. And the dead priest brings the living priest to the Black Barn for a second, then the Black Barn disappears. So you get, as you see here, it's very creepy looking, very ominous. Really good use of reds and blacks in that picture. And yeah, things get kind of crazy from there. I'm not going to spoil too much anything more, but yeah, it's interesting. So there's going to be some crazy supernatural elements to this. There's a lot of you have your religious overtones. You also have your kind of like more science overtones with Norton, who does believe in God. He does believe in the devil and all that. But he's also more of a science guy. He's more of like a guy that thinks everything can be figured out with science. At least that's the impression I get from the character. With his whole cataloging system and all that. So overall, I think this is a good start, but it's definitely not like the most catching issue. It's definitely something that you're gonna have to read the first few issues to really get a good idea of where the story is going. I think this book will definitely be better as a trade. You know, like because there's some books that work better as a trade. You know, you pick it up for the first 4 issues together and you read it all in one binge, and you understand the story better. I think this is one of those kind of books where it'll work better as a completed read. You know, like chunk by chunk versus just picking it up monthly. But yeah, I do think this book has some serious promise. It's just, it's still too early to think of. There's some books that I can tell you right off the bat I'm going to keep going with it. Like Oblivion Song, that's the first issue of a new series. But I can tell you right now that I'm going to continue that book because it seems amazing to me. So overall rating, I give this about a 3 out of 5. I'm just not sure yet. We'll have to see where it goes from here. But thank you guys for watching.